Hi, I'm Andrew Gordon. I'm an attorney and CPA, and over the last 10 years, I've helped taxpayers report their crypto successfully and avoid IRS scrutiny. But at the same time, I've seen that the IRS has weaponized their attack against crypto. Although it is widely known that there's a significant tax gap, which is the difference between what is reported by crypto investors on their tax returns and what actually needs to be reported and collected by the IRS. Although this gap exists, the IRS over recent years has turned the crypto tax code into a system that unfortunately penalizes people who are trying to report properly. The tax system as it exists today with respect to crypto is broken. Individuals do their best to report their crypto, but unfortunately have horrible records. They have resources and exchanges that sometimes don't provide them with the records that they need. And yet at the same time, the obligation and expectation is on the taxpayer to report accurately and properly each year. And if they don't, there could be significant penalties or even worse. Even just last week, I talked to an individual crypto investor. He had a very modest job and took his earnings and invested in crypto and placed those holdings on BlockFi and converted them to USDC, a stable token, and earned interest on those stable tokens. And he thought this was a safe investment, as many people did. But what ended up happening was that BlockFi closed down. They filed for bankruptcy. And as unfortunate as that was for this investor, what came next was even worse. The IRS, with their weaponization of their attack against crypto, issued a notice to him saying that he owed hundreds of thousands of dollars due to unreported trades on stable tokens. Now, everyone knows that stable tokens are generally bought and sold at $1, and so this notice had to be wrong. But in order to fight this notice, he's going to have to go through considerable expense to hire an attorney and challenge it. Every day I talk to people who want to do things the right way. They want to report their crypto properly. They want to be in compliance with the tax code. But because records are unavailable, because they don't exist, because it's just too difficult to report crypto when you have a variety of different exchanges and wallets being used, these individual investors are becoming tax criminals. So how do we fix this? Having worked in crypto tax for over the last 10 years, I've identified certain policy recommendations that can help close this tax gap and provide a win-win for both the government and taxpayers. I've used my experience to develop 6 recommendations, which you can find on cryptotaxreform.com. These 6 policy recommendations are intended to be policies that can be implemented quickly to minimize the tax gap and also equitably allow taxpayers to report their crypto. We're about 90 days away from the election, and both candidates at the highest level of the ballot as well as lower down are starting to pay attention to crypto. And this is great to see. It's great to see that there's attention now in an area that has been mainly the focus of attacks by regulation, by enforcement. And now there are thoughts of how do we actually make it so that the taxpayers, so the individual investors can do things fair and equitably. And there's a variety of different ideas out there and ways that this can be done. And hopefully over time we'll see that both parties try to make it so that individuals can be tax compliant and not tax criminals. By implementing reforms, it can not only increase the tax collected by the government, but also allow taxpayers to report their crypto easily, efficiently, and properly, which currently just doesn't exist. With other areas such as stocks and securities, the everyday investor can report their trades, and it's not a cumbersome or difficult process. And with that too, for the government, the tax gap doesn't exist. But with crypto, it's very different, and we need to change that. One survey estimates that at least 40% of Americans own at least some form of crypto. Yet there have been many surveys by government agencies that indicate that a very small percentage actually report on their tax returns. So this creates a large opportunity for the government to implement reforms so that these individuals can report on their taxes properly. So what can you do? If you are a crypto investor, this is our shot to be heard in Washington. From at the top of the ballot all the way down, crypto has become a political issue. And unfortunately, it doesn't have to be. But now that we have their attention, we should voice our opinions to local lawmakers. So if you're listening to this and you agree something needs to be done, contact your local politician and ask them their view on crypto and crypto taxes specifically. When you speak to your lawmakers, tell them that you want to be within the bounds of the law, that you want to be tax compliant and not a tax criminal. But under the current crypto tax code, it makes it difficult or nearly impossible. If you have additional ideas or you think some policies should be included to make crypto taxes more fair and equitable, please include them in the comments or send us a message. We'd love to hear them.